We'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters.
Go ahead, I'll let you intro.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Well, this is what you guys have been asking for, the Q&A episode, where the questions that you guys just recently asked, Tom and I are going to go through those, and then some of the most frequently asked questions, we're going to try and address and answer those. And then, obviously, there's some questions that we're just going to say pass.
Sure.
Maybe not on this list.
Not on the list, no.
But on ones that we've been asked over time, like, you don't get to know everything about me or Tom. Some things are just, our own lives are private.
Yeah. But also, it's, I just want to say a couple of things, since we just hit our 1 year anniversary. And I really want to thank everybody for the support they provided the channel. A lot of people watch every videos, comment every videos. Obviously, Patreon has been great.
I didn't even know what they were wanting, like when they were asking for Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Like people were asking to help support us, and I don't know, it just kind of blew me away. Like,
yeah.
I can't imagine paying X amount of dollars to watch somebody's YouTube channel that I can watch for free, and these people are wanting to do it. So yeah, it means a lot.
And obviously, we try to bring extra value. Which is, we're trying our best. It's been a little hectic with the holidays and family and everything.
I mean, it's been an epic year growing this fast. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
We're super happy and thankful to have grown this fast. But it's also been like one of the crazier years of my life.
Sure.
And shoot, you just got engaged. So also, I mean.
Yeah, it's been busy for sure.
Lots of distractions and
a lot of
things,
on our
a lot
minds.
of parties.
Especially in December. So we should have more shorts, more Patreon stuff coming back very, very shortly. And I think we both taught ourselves how to do this in the last year since we started.
Yeah.
Hopefully there was some improvements.
Well, I was terrified of the camera 12 months ago. And now it almost doesn't bother me. In fact, I'm okay with it at my house, but when he turned this camera on here in a public place, we're actually at a Civil Society pub, which is Tom's favorite pub to drink at and brewery down here. There's a location down by his house and then one up closer to my old house. My favorite is actually across the street that has a bigger selection of dark beers, but hey.
It was a little bit more quiet here. That's why I set up the shot here, but we'll definitely go get a bite and a drink.
You compromise and let me go to my favorite place.
Oh,
plenty,
I love that place too.
Okay,
the food's delicious too. But anyway, so we're going to start. There's a couple questions in here that are not quite questions, but these are such regular commenters. We want to make sure we acknowledge them. Like Sally saying that Jerry's already answered so many questions, especially by introducing us to his mom. She's always had his back, encouraging him and helping him. She just wanted to, saying that Jerry's lucky to have her in his life. And so thank you, Sally, for always commenting and everything.
And I know I'm lucky. I absolutely know it.
So now this is from Carrie, aka Irish.
Okay.
Hi, Jerry and Tom. Jerry, is there a species of reptile that you would like to acquire and be a caregiver for? And what is your dream species? Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All that good stuff. And to you as well with the
a dream reptile. I mean, I almost feel like any one from my entire collection to me is a dream reptile. To like have what I have right now is really beyond my dreams. Like I didn't expect. I mean, I practically have a zoo behind my house. Of course, I did see like a clip from Blake's. I guess on Kennan's channel, I watched something about Blake's. He has a zoo. But if I had never saw that, I feel like I have a zoo.
It's pretty impressive as a non-animal keeper. Every time I go to your house, I'm like, oh yeah, forget. He's got 3,000 or 4,000 square feet worth of animal enclosure, which is not nothing.
Yeah. So to not avoid the question and actually answer it, I definitely want to have a black roughneck again. We lost my male last winter. Same problem that, certain animals have. He had gotten transferred into his outdoor enclosure, And his other enclosure, he was used to the hide box, and I moved him to a new environment just before winter, and he decided to sleep out more. Like, he wasn't used to where his hide box was, and I had learned that lesson then, but I'm still learning lessons, and I'm not going to say that I take learning those lessons lightly. Those aren't lessons that you really need to think about it before you learn those, like, because something's life is at stake, something that you love's life's at stake. Like, I won't transfer an animal to a new enclosure that's staying outside in the, just before winter. That'll never happen again.
Sure.
And I know I don't know I don't want to answer a question that's coming up, but Varanus nucleus, if I'm saying that right, a water monitor that is dark but has all these amazing, like, almost white mottled patterns on his back, sometimes on his face.
White, oh my God, what is those?
I think what we need to do is we can look up an image and insert it right here into this conversation.
Yeah, what is
Varanus nucleus, and I'm not going to know the spelling. Varanus, V-A.
Oh, Varanus. Anyways,
we can, with a V. V-A, Varanus.
Oh, Varanus. Monitor lizard, found it.
That's definitely one.
We'll insert
No,
it.
you're just under Varanus, not nucleus.
Oh,
so you're
no.
looking in Varanus means
it.
monitor.
Yeah. I
That's
see it.
all.
Okay.
That covers all of them.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yep.
So that's definitely one I would like to have, and I would like to have a black roughneck again. I had those 25 years ago, and I absolutely love that animal. And I thought I had it. My male was so calm, always ate off the tongs. Was just a couple steps away from being something that I could handle and have crawl on me. But I mean, they're definitely a different lizard because you can pick a wild one up and it'll just sit there. So it handles its stress very differently. Its fight or flight isn't to run or bite typically. It actually bottles its stress.
Oh, interesting. So it plays more dead almost.
You need to have a very soft approach in knowing if it's comfortable being handled by you as opposed to forcing your handling. And usually the tongue flicking is the indicator that it's okay.
Right. Cool. Another question from Patreon, Debbie Stum. Vet-sided question. How often do you have to worm? Any vaccination? And do you have to nail trim? I have show dogs, and I'm so curious of what they need to be healthy because dog nails get too long because it can cause all kind of problem.
That's a very good question, and I might get beat up for my answer. I don't know, but I beat to my own drum, and I do what makes sense to me, and I don't want you to take what I say and practice the way I practice. Is worming good? Yeah, to have an animal that's free of parasites that can grow to its maximum and most efficient and everything, absolutely. But, I mean, it is poison. I mean, I'm the kind of guy who tries to take Advil or Tylenol as little as possible. If I have a cold or a flu, I just try to rest and eat better and hydrate. Like, I try not to put, because everything's got a side effect.
Right.
And, I often say, like, to people that say, you don't worm your animals. John lived to 14 years old. He had never been wormed a day in his life. He lived outside. He ate. If we went frog gigging, he ate frogs. Frogs carry parasites. In fact, a lot of life cycles of parasites are in certain amphibians.
Sure.
So when we went frog gigging, he would eat all the heads and entrails and stuff from all the frogs. Ate fish from me fishing. Squirrels from my yard. Squirrels were often riddled with, I don't want to say what type of worm it was wrongly, but it looks like some sort of a long flat worm.
No, like a tapeworm.
Yeah, they were just riddled with those worms all the time. And I didn't learn until we actually started the YouTube channel about freezing for a month. So I never practiced that. And never an issue with parasites. If an animal is eating regularly and passing food regularly,
Right.
parasites are not a problem. It isn't a problem to the frog that's carrying the parasites, and it's not a problem to the monitor that's carrying the parasites, because he is eating on his regular schedule and passing that food and passing the parasites and
not losing weight.
Yeah. And it's not causing him undue stress. If anything, they can gain too much weight in your care. Like, I can see it sometimes where I got to back off on this one or back off on that one. Like, that can happen
makes
easy.
Sense. Yeah, no, of course.
And then when somebody tries to like argue the subject with me, I say, when was the last time you were wormed?
Right.
Like, how many questionably medium rare pork chops or pork tenderloins did you
sushi.
eat? Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
I've eaten a lot of questionable stuff in my life, and I have never been wormed.
Yeah.
Never been wormed.
Fair enough.
So that's my answer to that. And as far as trimming nails, no, I don't let my animals crawl on me all that much. And if I do, it's with a long sleeve shirt or a sweatshirt or something like that. Like, I don't want, it can happen so fast where it gets onto your ear or something like that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot wilder of an animal too. You know what I mean? It's a lot less fussy than a dog that's been,
when they're tame,
bred
they
for
move
generations.
slow.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it's, I don't know. It would get a little spicy.
I'd rather have it crawl onto my lap, and the length of his nails isn't a problem.
Yeah. Mary, when did you discover your love for reptiles?
Well, I've always loved all like wildlife and animals and stuff like that. But my first pet reptile would have been a Nile monitor, which I know people are going to be like, eh. And there are some people that have great Nile monitors, but yeah, it was an inexpensive entry-level reptile, and I got it when I was probably 16, 17 years old. And I got him, and of course, like, it was a baby Nile monitor, and then the next thing I wanted was something bigger, and I went straight from him to a 7.5-foot water monitor. That I know people are gonna be like, no, it wasn't a female. Sally was a female, that big, and I had her for years and years and years and years. And just out of high school, I used to travel to schools with sulcata tortoises and pythons and stuff like that. And she was a wild caught animal that, after a couple handlings, became super tame. Like, I'll tell stories about how I used to take her out on my boat fishing with me, and we would catch like Jack Crevalle, and she was not tied up on the boat or anything. She would either sit up on the seat or she would go on the seat, underneath the seat for shade, and I would feed her fish on the boat. And Sally used to go all over the place with me.
Interesting. So, like, people take a dog out.
And I would take her to the school and let kids pet her. And this was a wild caught giant animal.
7.5 feet, you said?
Yeah, and I had a male bigger than her that, again, we knew nothing about breeding. We had put him together, and she destroyed him.
Oh.
Tore him up, and we had to treat all his wounds and everything. And I didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Everything healed up, but his foot was tore up, his tail, and all that stuff. But
all right.
Yeah, so I get 16, 17 years old, but I went straight into monitor lizards, and I've owned chameleons, tortoises, lots of different snakes. I had a massive collection getting out of high school.
Very cool. And when you say massive, how many would that be?
Over 200.
Damn.
So, like, what I have now is, but that was craziness. That was, like, a lot of people get caught up into the whole idea of collecting. I still had a goal of breeding back then, but the information wasn't so much then. And I was, like, collecting 2.4 of it, anything and everything I could. And setting up, I was building enclosures, I was selling reptiles to people, I was building enclosures for people, and also had a job in construction and stuff like that. But, I mean, I think I worked 20-hour days then.
Damn.
Between feeding animals,
yeah,
cleaning,
that's a lot.
building cages, and working.
That sounds like a lot. Now we're off to YouTube questions. When will you end up getting tortoises, French, for your property? I'd like to see the enclosures you come up with. Redfoot, elongated, and aldabras.
Well, I will definitely babysit my mom's aldabras when she goes out of town moving forward once we have the pen set up. And I will probably do something with a lot of those dock pilings that we have piled up where it's the staggered pilings next to each other and create a large pen for them.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then, the possibility of some other tortoises maybe in the front play area once that's done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my goal to have a bunch of vegetarians. I used to own a lot, and I felt like, if I went out of town for 4 days, I can go out of town for 4 days with meat eaters and feed them good before I leave, and they're okay.
Right.
I can have somebody come over and check waters and stuff like that. I mean, now with my property so far separated from me, I'll have someone stay at my property, no questions asked. It's not going to get left unattended. But the vegetarians, they really have that daily need for food, and that, to me, is too restrictive on my wants and needs for living my life.
Yeah, especially with you racing. That's a long weekend.
Fishing, camping. I mean, we haven't even gotten into off-roading in the channel.
Sure.
But that used to be, not a massive part of my life, but definitely a hobby that I enjoyed. So we will get into that more.
Yeah.
And Bahama trips.
Yeah.
I grew up snorkeling, spearfishing, lobstering. Sorry, there's a...
Yeah, we might pause for a second.
A loud car. All right, let's pause it. All right.
Cool.
Now we're back at it.
We're back.
Loud car started up, and we had to wait for him to take off, and then I had to return a message. A buddy of mine, David Strait, the gentleman I went fishing in Wabasso, has 4 black crappie and a catfish, all native fish to put into our pond.
Oh, cool.
That he's got in an aerator right now waiting for me. So
you're going to pick it up on your way home?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll be adding some fish to the pond, which is exciting. Have a few crappie in there.
Cool. This is funny. Only question, why does Tom continue to hide the truth? I know Jerry does the how at the start, you can't fool me. We had to pay for that, and it's probably most likely somebody doing it, but it's not us.
Yeah, and we could have done it.
Yeah, we could have. It's still an idea. We might do it one day when we have a second and we remember. And record it, then edit it.
And someone mentioned doing the howl at the end of the video, like us doing it. And maybe we'll start doing that one day if I feel like...
One of those days when we have a couple beers in us, we'll do it.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe with a couple beers.
Happy holidays and anniversary. Thank you very much. From Doug. How much deep sea fishing are you able to do? Are you going to stock your pond with more and different fish?
Oh, that's funny. So they're asking if we're going to stock the pond with different fish. And absolutely. And I have started to I know I want the carp in there.
Sure.
Or, because I got to pull permits for, there's only one type of carp I'm supposed to have in there. But I could put koi fish in there since my pond doesn't connect to, a lot of times people raise up their koi fish, and once they get too big for the pond that they're keeping it in, they need to rehome them.
Okay.
So, large koi, perfect.
Yeah.
And you'd get to see them, which would be nice. You'd see a large gold or white gold or whatever.
Or a tricolored pattern,
Yeah, that would be cool. So I would be open to that. I just don't know about any of the South American fish that are in the Amazon because, I hate the word invasive, but I am not for all the exotic fish that are in our waterways in South Florida.
That's not good.
So I don't want to be part of the problem. I enjoy catching them, but I don't want to be part of the problem. I know a lot of people will have the opinion that peacock bass and clown knifefish and stuff, they're not a problem, that they're fun to catch. I agree, but so are largemouth bass. And we had, growing up here in South Florida, the largemouth bass fishery was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you go fishing in those waters, you're catching so many peacock bass and then like 1 or 2 largemouth bass. Like
interesting. I didn't know.
They say that they don't compete, but absolutely, they have to compete. All those fish are competing for the same.
There's only a certain amount of food.
In fact, the tilapia is, to me, one of the worst in South Florida because when they bed, they guard their bed, and then they pick at any fish that goes near the bed. So they take up all the good bedding areas. So in the spring, when the bass go to bed, and they try to find that shallow, sandy spot to bed, the tilapia are chasing them off. And, fish have like a protective slime layer. And so getting pecked at by other fish removes the slime layer and it allows them to, like bacteria, to actually get at them. And then they end up getting sick.
Well, I did not know that.
That's why when you're fishing and you catch a fish, it's always better to like wet your hands before you handle the fish. It doesn't take it off of them. Like wrapping them in a towel is horrible.
Okay, got it. And how much deep sea fishing are you able to do? I guess not a ton.
I did a ton growing up.
Yeah.
I went the other day. I went deep dropping and then bottom fishing with my buddy Johnny, and I almost filmed it, but then just decided to just have a day and enjoy my day. And truth be told, the fishing hasn't really done amazing in the channel. In fact, our worst performing videos ever. I know, Tom, this has been a big discussion because I want the channel to be all inclusive, but we also don't want to kill it. And we almost killed the growth of the channel, down to almost no subs in a month, down to 50 or 70 subs. Yeah. Those couple videos really hurt us, and I think a lot of people unsubscribed to the channel because of fishing content. And I wish people would just be like, we got to find a way where if I post something for fishing, that it's just something you don't watch, but you don't have to unsubscribe because I'm still going to have amazing reptile content. I am building all this for a reason. And I
have a theory, which is we've had such a skyrocketing growth of 1,000 subscribers a month for the first 8 months that eventually was bound to slow down. Go from 1,000 a month to now 76 a month. It's insane.
It definitely hurts when you see that number decrease. And we talked about it, and we decided to just
we're going to
keep plugging forward and not worry about it right now.
No.
Because, again, there's too much other stuff that's worrying us right now. And
honestly, too, most channels take about a year and a half to reach 1,000 subscribers. We got 12,000 in 8 months, so 10 months, whatever. So there's no complaints there. We really appreciate everybody who subscribed. You know what? Even if you come across this video and not subscribed in the past, that's fine too. We appreciate you, and I'm sure you still see it in your feed from time to time. So we appreciate everyone with that. But it's just, it was bound to slow down. I don't think we were mentally ready to slow down so drastically, but we'll keep plugging. We'll keep doing the monitor stuff. We'll try to set it up in that way that I mentioned for future fishing videos. And we'll keep doing what we think is fun, and hopefully you guys think it's fun too. But yeah, fishing worst, second worst, my cooking.
Actually, your cooking was beating the fishing videos for a little bit.
Yeah, so it is what it is. The cooking came out delicious, though. So.
But you know what? The GoPro 360 actually helped.
Yes. By the way, we're stoked. I will drop. I'm going to try. I've never done this. I taught myself how to do this. We taught ourselves how to do this in the last year. I'm going to make a special release. It's not going to be on a Wednesday at 5 or a Sunday at 12. It's actually going to be a 360. It's going to be all the 360 footage. But if you watch it from your phone, you'll be able to pan yourself 360. And if you have a GoPro, a VR headset, you'll be able to be in the race looking around. Now,
oh, wow.
I'm gonna have to learn how to do that because I don't know yet. But by the end of the month, hopefully, that will drop as just an extra content for anybody that's got a VR headset.
And from that one video, I've now been asked to be on a paddling podcast.
Oh, cool.
About the pedal drive surf skis because really they're only competing and racing. I raced today. I had a medal on.
Well, show your hand. You have your little.
Yeah, I still have my number on there, and I only wear my watch to watch my heart rate and my speed during the race. I got first place in the race today. I did a 5-mile race out of Jupiter.
Very cool.
So yeah, I'll do that podcast and kind of explain all that stuff in the beginning of the video, and he figured out some good questions to ask.
Perfect.
Should be fun. I've never done a podcast before, so we'll see what happens.
Talk to me after because we'll work on that. We might be able to use some of this stuff. Irish again now on YouTube. She had another question. I know this year has been hard for you, but putting that aside, which animal enclosure do you or did you prefer and why? It's really an interesting question.
Animal enclosure?
Yeah, like a specific one you may have built. I know most of it was just the rows. But did you do anything with the building? Well, let's expand it to the building in general.
I mean, the coolest enclosure I had any part in building would be Slinky's enclosure because of the sheer size of it. And, again, I love the problem solving. So when me and Kenan were talking and not wanting to have he doesn't want any posts in the middle of the enclosure. I'm like, well, we got to have this size lumber and stuff. And, where I figured out the aluminum beam shooting all the way across. And it was fun to be a part of that build. I don't have any plans on building anything near as large as that. Again, our play area, the maximum depth of it is going to be 12 foot, which, I can have 12-foot 2x4s or 2x6s doing the roof trusses for that.
Yeah.
And I don't need anything bigger. But out of the enclosures I built, probably at the old house, the one that my Black Dragon was in, and then later Forest was in, because of the wood that was in it was so beautiful. I think it's some of the wood that might be in Bubba's right now, but it's not all of it.
Sure.
It was just like a almost petrified, beautiful light wood. And I liked having those big swimming tubs for the monitors. I can't stand that I only have those little black mixing tubs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were different tubs.
We still haven't built their proper pools yet. This stuff is just going to keep going and evolving and building. Right now, I know people are commenting about the plants and this and that. This is not done just because I'm moving past an enclosure. I'm just trying to get it done. And then somebody had commented about not getting more animals until I'm able to give 100% to all the animals. I still have animals that are displaced, that other people are paying to feed my animals, and I have that guilt on me on top of all my other stress. I would like to get my animals home where, I'm the one bearing the cost of feeding them and caring for them, but also getting to know them better.
Right, and handling them and all that fun stuff.
Oh.
I will say, having seen Slinky's enclosure, it is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Perfect. Somebody would like to know more about Pete. He's so calm and precious. Every time I see him, I have a smile on my face. Did you train him, or is he naturally this calm and good with other animals?
Pete. Well, first dog that I got on my own was you want to call it a Staffordshire Terrier, you want to call it a Pit Bull, and I know they have a bad reputation, but his name was Blue, smartest dog, so obedient. So, they're just big, loving animals. They look a certain way, but they're big, loving animals. And then my second dog was another pit bull named Max. He lived 2 days short of 18 years old.
Wow.
And just like Pete is, Max was my best friend, hung out with me every day, fished with me, you name it, Max was at my side,
right?
Just like Pete. And I didn't want to go home after he passed away. In fact, when he hit that, he was still active and playing with the kids and stuff 2 weeks before he passed.
Wow.
So he had energy. Like a lot of people's dogs look old when they're 12 years old. At 18 years old or 17 years old, he was still running around the yard playing with the kids. And he didn't look as old as he was.
Right.
I mean, he looked like someone else's 6-year-old dog.
Right.
And when he stopped eating and couldn't hold food down anymore and stuff, and it was time, clearly time. He knew it. We knew it. Dr. Mike actually came to our house, and so we could spend our last moments with him. But after that, I was so sad I couldn't come home. So all I could do was scour and look for another dog, and I found Pete on Craigslist. So Max was a tricolor pit. He had like the teddy bear mask on his face, like a darker brown, a lighter brown, a white chest. So that's a tricolor.
Yeah.
And they say they get that from mixing a Rottweiler with a pit bull.
Sure.
Somewheres along the lines. So Pete was a mistake litter of puppies from a guy who owned a blue and white or a blue pit bull, and the neighbor's like 140, 160 pound Rottweiler
Interesting.
impregnated his female dog. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the same as Max. This is, I have to. And Pete's nothing like Max. He's a totally different dog. He has his own little quirks and stuff like that. But I love him. I am a very strict trainer. And so, like, as a puppy, I was very strict on him. But he is the most obedient, easygoing. It's funny. Like, I don't have to give commands most of the time. I point, and he knows what I mean by pointing and flicking my hands. Like, that means to go lay in the corner over there. Like, if we're eating, I do that. I point down on the ground. He comes by my feet, lays down on the ground. Like, there's no begging, everything. He's an amazing dog. There's that's Pete's story, and I know some people have asked for a Pete video, and I'm going to do that. Pete's favorite thing in the world is to go to the sandbar and play with other dogs. But you will see a different side of Pete. He goes crazy at the sandbar. He loves running in the water and running around. So sandbar is basically at low tide an area of the river that the sand actually comes, the tide recedes, and there's a big sandy area. And he'll run around with the dogs. But as a puppy, he learned to play with my friends that had a bunch of French bulldogs, which when they play are very vocal. Very, very vocal. So he makes some noise, and you're going to think that it sounds like he's angry or attacking another dog. That's just the noise he makes. But he's wagging his tail the whole time. So just be warned. He plays with all dogs that way. He's wagging his tail, and he makes all this crazy noise that doesn't sound great. But he loves the sandbar, and we'll have to do a video about that, like a boat day or something.
Sure. Yeah. And then one day also I want to bring Nova out to the property, and that'd be fun.
That would be cool.
Because she's somehow very much the same. Essentially, I don't even have to call her. Just snapping my fingers, 99% of the time, she'll know whether it's. I point at something, I say, and she just runs over. It's great, but it's super rare. I don't know. It's one of those things. But you have to be strict in the beginning. I was very much the same way with her like that. Because once you teach it, that can literally save a good recall can save their life if they ever get out. You know what I mean? If something happens. So for sure. I guess I don't have any questions. Just comment. Love your channel. Love the affection, dedication to your precious children. Shout outs. Thank you. There's something about more people saying thank you. As a reptile and fish keeper myself, I find creating an enclosure
Sounds like
fun
he's
part.
mumbling over there.
What is your favorite thing about keeping reptiles, and how did you get into it? You said when you started doing it. Did you mention why you started doing it? It just a pure love, or was it anything in particular? A friend who had one, a family member who had one?
I know, and people are going to poke or make fun because I thought it was different. where I thought it was
Sure.
full.
Everybody has a
I mean,
dog.
at that age, 16, 17 years old, you don't even know yourself yet.
Yeah.
And really, I don't encourage young kids to get pets because you don't even know where you're going to live and stuff like that. Like,
Sure.
yet, like, I wouldn't recommend getting an animal like this until you own your own house because, like, how do you know where?
Yeah, because you could get a 12-inch monitor at a convention. Next thing you know, it could
4 or 5 feet. A 4 or 5 foot monitor needs quite a bit of space.
Yeah.
And
you're not keeping that in your dorm in college.
yeah, then you have it in an apartment, then your landlord finds out about it, and then
Right.
they make you get rid of it. And then animals they do imprint to their owners. They do
Sure.
know a voice. We already proved that in an earlier video. They do know their owners. And
yeah, those.
how does it feel to get bounced around? You know,
Right. Actually, part of the question was also, how did you meet Kenan?
how did I meet Kenan? I think Erica, who is my wife that we are going through this process, but it's still not over yet. She met him at the gym and I think knew from someone else that he did reptile stuff and talked to him because we had just gotten John. I think I had just gotten John and Jane and one other. I think I had mentioned that I had a black throat that had a kinky tail and stuff like that. He was in the group that I bought. And my mom still had one of my monkey-tailed skinks from when I was breeding them way back when. And it was a baby that I had produced. And it's crazy because it was like 20 years later or something. And that's how long it was living.
Right.
And we gave it to Kenan. So that's how I met Kenan when we brought the monkey-tailed skink over there, or prehensile-tailed skink. And we brought it over to his house, and he started immediately asking me, like, hey, you're good with construction. Hey, started talking about stuff. And I'm like, I'm too busy with this or that right now. But, we kept in touch. And, it was definitely him that re-sparked my interest. I don't want to say interest because I already had reptiles, but he re-sparked the interest, and Erica enabled it because if it wasn't for her taking on the role as the breadwinner, and this will probably end up being in a further question, and allowed me to fully pursue it. And again, we'll get into this in a further question, but it was right opportunity at the right time.
Let's just roll right into it. So what did you do? What did you used to do for a living, and what are you doing now?
So that's probably like one of the most frequently asked questions.
Yes.
It pops up just about every video, and I don't always know how to answer it because, like, a lot of times it's what do you do for a living now, and how can you afford to do what you're doing? And it's worded that way, and I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm well off by like any means, but when I met Erica, I was the breadwinner then, and for 6-7 years of our relationship, and then she passed me up. Like, she absolutely passed me up. And we had like other life situations that happened. We've actually been through quite a bit between us and the kids and stuff. I have 2 stepkids. Some days I know I have 2 stepkids, some days I don't know. The divorce is very stressful and difficult for everybody involved. But she basically said to pursue your dreams and stop doing what you have to do and start doing what you want to do. And that's when I went in and started developing the surf ski stuff and then also jumping into the reptile stuff. I really only needed to pull weight for vacation money and stuff like that. This never was supposed to be a standalone income to support myself. So
Right.
now, like, looking forward, I don't know how this is. I really don't know how all this is going to work moving forward. But growing up, I did construction work. And then I kind of did a job for some interior designers, and then realized that there was a whole world of construction and easier work than construction and cleaner work that was just working with interior designers. So I became an installer for interior designers, and I hung high-end artwork, moved antique furniture, and I traveled the country doing that. I had plenty of guys working for me and stuff, and it was a good business. And in the last, or second to last, not the last, but the crash before that in the economy, they started getting a little tight about bills and jobs and stuff like that, and advertising design companies started offering me some work. And in a bad economy, people stop spending so much money, but they start drinking more. So liquor companies start spending more money, and advertising design companies can build all sorts of advertising and promotional stuff for liquor companies. So that's what I did for quite a few years. I built promotional vehicles. I built trade show booths, tasting bars. Like I built all the Corona bars that you saw all around the country on cruise ships, ball fields. So I built all those at my shop with my guys. And that was actually a very fun job, because it was creative, and it was working with wood and steel and materials. Yeah, and materials that I liked. So I built, so when you say vehicles, I built a truck for Jim Beam, and it
And we'll get the pictures. We'll try to just make sure you send me all the pictures.
And it almost took over almost all my time.
Right.
So the truck would we built the truck to the specs, we would propose the lift kit and this and that and the custom interior, and we built this big giant converted deuce and a half with a 6-inch lift kit with track bars and all this stuff. And I basically delivered the truck, here you go. We went around the block, we drove it, and they're like, all right, so who could drive this? I'm like, it's gonna have to be the right person. They're like, well, can you activate it? Because it's a lot. It's like driving a tank down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on 53-inch tires. It's heavy. It's got air-assisted steering. So, it's like you give it a little steering pressure, and then the steering wheel goes, then you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
It was an awful lot to drive around. So they started paying me to activate it and take it to concerts.
Oh, cool.
And Daytona 500, it would be on the infield. All sorts of events like that, and mud events. So I went.
Sure.
So when I say I took a long break from off-roading, I went to, I forget what was the number, but it was some crazy number of mud fests that I went to in a year.
Right.
So I would go off-roading in this truck all weekend, and then usually you broke something. Then I would go home, clean it, detail it,
fix it,
take it to some other promotional restaurant events and stuff like that. And then the next weekend I was going off-roading again with it. It was crazy, my schedule. And I stopped going to off-road events after that, because it was too much.
Right. At that point the passion becomes work, and it gets a little bit exhausting for sure.
That's why I never wanted to be a fishing guide, because you don't want to, if something is your stress reliever and your fun activity, if you make it your work, then it becomes less fun.
Yeah.
And,
for sure.
But I don't feel like this reptile thing is going to be that. It's because it's not stressful. It doesn't feel like work.
No.
Picking up a camera, it slows you down a little bit, but it doesn't make it feel more like work.
Sure. And I think last question we have, I'm not quite sure how long we've been at it, but I think we're probably close to 30, 40 minutes. How did we meet?
Well, our significant others work together.
Erica has a real estate business. My then girlfriend, now fiance, is a real estate agent for her. During COVID, I had taught myself how to podcast, and their job office always wanted to do more video and more podcasting stuff. So then I was like, well, I taught myself how to do this. If you guys ever need help, I can help. I got all the equipment. And then Erica goes, well, maybe you could get with Jerry and do something on YouTube together. And I was like, I don't know how to do that, but I can learn because I just.
How did you feel about the idea of reptile content, like when it was first proposed to you?
I was cool with it. Just honestly, I'm kind of like, I'm not like you because you're you like to learn stuff, but you do a lot of problem solving. For me, it's more like I just like watching YouTube tutorials, and I was like, well, that'll give me a reason to like watch YouTube tutorials and learn a new skill. And maybe it's something I like doing because 90% of the content I watch is YouTube. And I was like, I'll be cool to be on doing the same thing. I was excited, and then it was more like, oh, there's like, this is different because I'd never seen a monitor before in real life. I think I had seen like alligators at the zoo and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So seeing like
they're real life dinosaurs.
Yeah, what was and then having them climb on top of me, and I'm now I'm like learning the species and the different breed and what they eat and their elements and stuff like that, and I get to see all this footage, learn from you through watching. Even when you visited that chicken farm, I'm learning stuff because I'm kind of, I review every second of the footage.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I feel like I know more, about the monitors without having, only met them a couple of times. So I find it super interesting. I look forward most of the time to like, especially now that I know I'm having a beer now, but now that I've cut down my drinking by like 75% and I don't really have any happy hours to go to anymore, I'm like, I'll go home and edit a video instead of going out for a drink. Yeah. So it's fun. I really enjoy it. And then, I just, we're trying to make upgrades on the camera, the sound equipment. Hopefully everything sounds good.
Yeah, so we didn't make anything this year. I mean, we made money, but we
reinvested every single dime
into
better equipment,
more cameras, things that can actually...
Right, editing a video before on 4K with my old laptop was like hours. Now it's literally, still takes 20 to 30, 45 minutes to an hour, but nowhere near as like, I gotta set it up when I go to sleep and it's like barely done by the time I wake up.
So the other question that you and I had discussed, I know it's been like, people have asked like, what are you gonna do in the future? Where do you see your channel going? And I know we have also discussed like, what we see happening this next coming year. I mean, what we want to happen, what realistically can happen.
What we dream to happen is we have 100,000 subscribers. We both quit our job, and Jerry and I shoot videos every day.
I honestly thought when we hit 10,000 that fast, that at the end of of next year, we would hit 100,000. And maybe if we start doing collaborations and start really treating this as a job, we could. But that all depends on the next coming weeks. I really like a lot. I'm going to know a lot in the next coming weeks. And if I can, obviously I want to finish building all the closures, cross fence the property, get the chicken coop set up, get that whole back triangle of my property set up. I also need to finish my shop, the bar area and stuff like that. More stuff on my house
or trailer.
I need to, that's the whole thing, is if I keep doing this, I need to find income in this.
Right.
And the YouTube is not the immediate income. Like, I need to monetize the property and I need to do the, as we coined, the Wolf's World experience.
Yep.
But I don't know that with everything else. So we're already in January, and with everything else, can I build another living structure? I don't even know what the setbacks are on the property. I don't know what the rules are on Airbnb or renting your property out there. I don't know any of that. I haven't looked into it. And that's stuff that I need to start putting time aside to do. And, maybe it has to start as an Airstream trailer or something like that we fix up just to get it started. But I do need to sort that out relatively quick because there's only so much time.
Right. Yeah. Like I work an average of 45 to 50 hour a week at a day job. That's an hour and a half away from Jerry's property. So we typically meet halfway in Jupiter, kind of close by his old house. So, I mean, obviously, where we would love to go is more, content, keep doing the content, more collab. But it's also hard when you're involving a third party, because we already have to work our schedules out, and then getting somebody to not potentially flake out. Not saying that they don't have their reason of not being able to do it at the last second, but that happens quite a bit where life happens to people we want to work with. And the day before you're supposed to get together, it's like something happened. Can we reschedule?
That's life. But I also don't want to visit. So, like, if I have in my head that I want to go and film someone's property because I find it interesting, I don't want to go and film something that someone else just filmed. We all know, like, the other people in Florida and, like, who
it's
they
a pretty small crew.
I'm almost more interested in the individual that's off the radar that has one or two interesting cages and some cool animals. Like, I find that as interesting as the massive properties that have it all done and together. Like, again, I enjoy the problem solving. I enjoy the evolution. Like, when we get to go back to Chris Suarez's property and see as he's getting settled in his property and getting his outdoor enclosures done.
When we met him, it was pretty small operation. Now he's got way more.
Yeah, he's building a lot more.
In 8 months, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. So, yeah, and stuff with the pond. Yeah, I want to do stuff with the pond.
Yeah. And I think it hasn't dropped yet. Now, when we're recording this, it's dropping tomorrow as of recording it. But the upcoming video with the camping and fishing, I thought was super interesting, super cool.
Camping in the Everglades.
I've done it by car. I've never done it by boat.
Was the ending part the best part? And you
yeah. Oh,
I guess that'll be
spoilers.
out first. Yeah,
it'll be out first, so you guys would have seen it. But it doesn't look that bad.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that bad. But anyways, I don't know if we have any other really true question.
Well, and we can basically finish it off.
And we can always
if there's any other finish up questions, you guys can always tack them onto this for next time.
And next time
we can start answering them inside of other videos.
Right, or we could do something like this every 6 months. Maybe live. Also do it on a get together around lunchtime, live on a Sunday, and just do straight to YouTube, answering questions people are asking if it's something that people would want to be into. But also, we appreciate one last thing. Everybody that's volunteering to help in person, I'm not going to put words in Jerry's mouth, but obviously we appreciate that. Now, is that something you would entertain if somebody was to reach out to potentially help? Because I know it is a question we get quite a bit.
In the beginning, it was like just grind.
Sure.
And right now, the construction is kind of spotted. It's not as steady right now. Right. Again, there is so much other stuff going on in my life that I'm not like every day building stuff at the property. There is lots of other stuff going on. And I also shut down for like 2 weeks near Christmas and New Year's.
You got family in town.
All my family comes in town. And I make all the time I can for my nieces and nephews and sisters and parents and stuff, that I try to just spend all the time I can with them, because they spend so much money and everything to even get here to spend time with us.
His sister lives in France, and I'm French, but I haven't met him yet. One day soon.
I know, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You met Jude, though?
No.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I was actually thinking he was coming in today. I thought he might come with today. Also, I'm just kind of screaming through some questions, but are you still raising the quails?
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of eggs?
Nope. None. 0 eggs. So that's either they're not happy, or I was told that they're going to stop laying this time of year anyway. I know when I had chickens, there was definitely like a 3 or 4 month period where they just stopped laying. So that's probably what's going on with my quail. They eat an insane amount of food. I cannot believe how fast they go through food. And in those stupid racks, they fling the food everywhere. Like all of that expensive feed, and they're just flinging it all on the ground and on their poop trays and stuff. I cannot wait to get them in regular enclosures. But I was also in a spot where, I think I mentioned this in a past video, like the cage money kind of dried up. So like,
Right.
you know, because of the divorce situation, Home Depot card stopped. You know, like a lot of stuff, like it's not fair for like that to be supported, obviously, by the other person. But I also do need to keep plugging forward on what I'm doing. So like, that's all going to get sorted this month, and I'll get to going full throttle with the enclosures. I can get those posts in the ground in the next coming weeks. I can get a couple more enclosures done on the rock monitor side, but then I need to start ordering screen after that, and lumber. I need screen, lumber. I need some stuff. So I think I made a decision just to get as far as I can with any and all the projects there with the materials I have, and just burn through all those materials, because we still have quite a
You
bit.
have quite a bit,
Like,
yeah.
we can do the fence up front and the mailbox.
Right.
I know that could be a video. Framing out, rough framing out the chicken coop and quail coops or enclosures. Cross fencing the property. If I do it with those big dock pilings, I don't know. Because I feel like those round pilings, when you put a screen on the front of it or the fencing material, that it creates like a little triangular pocket that you can't weed whack and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Will that bother me? Would I rather just a 4x or something that I can actually?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now you're gonna have to hand pull the weed depending on.
I don't want more work.
Yeah. But yeah, no, just a lot of general questions. We're pretty good about answering them, honestly. Most of the questions here have been answered. So, any closing thoughts or statements? Anything? You know, we're gonna keep doing the 2 videos a week. We're gonna try to get back to the shorts, because I know people seem to be enjoying them a lot. Back to, you know, a bit more Patreon.
Well, the reason why the shorts, you know, we discussed this too, is that my animals are so active when it's hot outside. They are not active.
Yeah,
they're not. They're most of them are hiding, and really it's the usual suspects that are out during the day. Lily, Pinky, and Onyx are the usual suspects, and then there's a couple out from there that
Frosty's pretty good now.
secondarily.
Yeah.
Forrest, Frosty, Alexander, like those guys are out a little bit less than the usual suspects. So like, I would love, we're going to do some time lapses in the enclosures with the shy animals. I'm going to show you how big my black dragon is, who's always hiding. We're going to start doing all that. That's all going to start happening. I'm going to show you.
Set up the 360 on the time lapse?
I don't know. I guess so.
Because we could set up, we'll talk about that. One thing, maybe, is there going to be any upcoming monitors for sale? Eggs that are about to hatch, or potential monitors that you have now that...
The T-negative albinos, the first clutch is sweating right now, and they sweat an insane amount of humidity inside the box in the incubator, and right before they dimple. So that's happening right now. Then they're going to dimple, and then we're going to start seeing some little cracks in them right before they hatch. So that's very close. We still have to set a price and figure out what that's going to be. And I haven't discussed it with Aaron yet, but I think I don't need 6 white throat monitors. So those babies that we were so exciting to acquire, Frosty and the 2 young females that have such a big head start over those, should be the 3 white throats that we keep. So I think those, I still do need to talk to Aaron, is moving those 3 babies, and I'm wondering if I want to hold back, my hold back black dragons, all 3 of them. Maybe I'll sell 1 or 2 of those, and my Guru Sulfurs. Maybe we'll just keep Bubba and the one that's looking most like a female. I don't know. Yeah. Again, I want to hold on to more of those animals, but if I could sell 1 animal and buy some more screen material and get that stuff behind me so we can get to the fun stuff, I probably need to do that. That's a smarter move.
So what we could always do is just like I was thinking, doing a special drop with the 360 footage. Maybe if Jerry has a couple monitors that are going up, potentially after you talk to whoever you need to talk to, that might end up being sold. Maybe we could always just do a short little 3-4 minute video that will drop whenever, so that way in case any subscriber wants one of those monitors, you know, you guys will get first dib as they get thrown on Morph Market, or they might not even need to make it. You know, we have an email that's open for anybody to email
this time
us.
of year, the shipping is tricky from Florida because
local pickup only for now.
Even if we have a warm day, it could be frigid where you live.
Yeah.
So I can't ship with a heat pack because it would cook before it leaves Florida to get into your cold environment. And so this time of year is very tricky shipping out of Florida.
Right. But so maybe some local pickups or somebody willing to drive down or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking the albinos, I'm willing to drive.
Yeah.
No problem.
We'll definitely make all the announcements, so keep an eye out on the channel. Make sure you add Jerry on YouTube. I'm going to talk to Jerry on Instagram. I'm going to try to help also push more stuff on the Instagram. And
and more of the detailed questions. Like obviously the comments on YouTube are very important for YouTube and the algorithms and stuff there, but there are like when someone's trying to connect with me to come and volunteer at the property or something like that, like sure, put it on YouTube. Awesome, we appreciate it. But if it's something that requires like more of a personal response and stuff, the Instagram is probably like the messenger through Instagram is the better place, or the email.
It's always linked in the description.
Okay.
Anytime, any video you go, you just click on show more or see more or whatever more, the little down arrow under the video. Every which way to get a hold of Jerry or I is, and we both have access to everything. So if you guys send us something within 6 to 12 hours, you typically get an answer. So, cool.
Very good.
That about covers it. So, thank you so much for your time, everyone, for watching this. And there's more and more people walking by looking at us funny here. So, we're going to go ahead and wrap up and maybe get a snack. I don't know if Jerry's eaten yet, but
thanks, everyone.
See you guys later.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.